One of the most impressive churches in London has an ancient, eerie beauty, but is effectively a cathedral to the power of pain. The reminder of suffering begins before you even enter the church itself, as, in the courtyard, there is a plaque commemorating the barbaric end of the Scottish hero William Wallace, known cinematically as Braveheart. Wallace was hanged, drawn and quartered just yards from this place on the 23rd of August 1305. But the power of pain was a part of the church long before then. Suffering seemingly bleeds from the walls of this place, the church of St. Bartholomew the Great in Smithfield, so let's delve into the misery and martyrdom. Founded in 1123 by Rahere, once a courtier and possibly a jester of King Henry I, the church was born from personal agony. During a pilgrimage to Rome, Rahere was struck by a severe illness. The timing of this pilgrimage coincides with two major events in the royal household, the death of Matilda in 1118 and the White Ship disaster in 1120, which claimed the life of King Henry's only son, the heir to the throne. This may have had a sufficient emotional impact on Rahere to have caused him to turn to his God and strive to mend his ways. In his affliction on pilgrimage, Rahere experienced a vision of St. Bartholomew, instructing him to build a church and hospital in London. Upon his recovery, Rahere returned to Smithfield and fulfilled the vision, establishing a priory and hospital, institutions rooted in healing, born from suffering. That raw, redemptive pain still clings to the architecture. The vast Norman arches, the heavy stone columns, the ancient ambulatory, all feel thick with silence and shadows. The darkness, heaviness and downright gloom of the place is also all-consuming. This is not really a place of gilded triumph, but of resilience. Fire, reformation, neglect and war have gnawed at its structure, but St. Bartholomew's endures, like a wound that never quite closes. And despite all this, it is undoubtedly beautiful. The theme of suffering as a portal to the divine is embodied powerfully in Damien Hirst's Exquisite Pain, a sculpture positioned in the north transept. The striking gold figure depicts St. Bartholomew after his martyrdom, open-mouthed but calmly holding the instrument of his death, a scalpel, and his own flayed skin. The brutality is chilling, yet strangely peaceful. The sculpture doesn't merely disturb, it confronts. Like the church itself, it suggests that suffering is not an end, but a transformation, a route to immortality. Even in death, the echoes continue. Rahere is buried in the church he built, his effigy watching through centuries. And he is not alone. Around him lie bishops, nobles, and forgotten martyrs, bodies worn by conflict, conviction, and disease. This is a space that has held the broken, not necessarily the blessed. St. Bartholomew the Great does not shout of triumph, but whispers of endurance and survival. It's a place where light struggles through the high windows and shadows gather in the corners, but the candles burn more brightly in spite of it. And the theme of pain continues down the centuries. During his time as an apprentice, Benjamin Franklin worked on the second edition of William Wollaston's Religion of Nature and wrote his A Dissertation on Liberty and Necessity, Pleasure and Pain in the church's allegedly haunted Lady Chapel. And the artwork that decks the walls speaks of suffering too. Richard Harrison's startling rendition of Golgotha paints a nude and scourged Christ struggling to the place of his execution. Harrison said of the work, "In tackling the subject of the crucifixion, I wanted to focus on the isolated figure of Jesus Christ. It was essential to convey the suffering and humiliation that he endured, and the despair that he felt. My God, why hast thou forsaken me?" Traditionally, Christ is depicted wearing a loincloth, but the Romans were far more likely to have crucified him naked in an attempt to humiliate, degrade, and shame him. The black and red background, sliced through by a parched chasm or dried up riverbed, emphasises the desolate and desperate situation in which Jesus finds himself and echoes the sense of impending doom. The church invites visitors not simply to admire, but to feel, to sit with sorrow, to witness survival, or possibly resurrection of body or spirit after enduring pain. Close to the heart of one of the world's busiest cities, it offers something rare, not comfort but truth and solace, and through that truth, something close to grace. It's a grace that Rahere and Bartholomew gained, in spite of and because of their pain. But that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, share, and most importantly, subscribe. And you can also support the channel on Subscribestar via the link in the description, or via YouTube Super Thanks. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.